Hey y'all, it's Jonathan, and I am back with another edition, episode 2 of BookTails, and this is where I sort of mix my way through Black Mixcellence, a comprehensive guide to Black Mixology, talk books, get a little bit more candid, and just have a good time with a good cocktail. So today, I wanted something a little bit simple. We're going to be talking romance novels. So I decided to make the Just Chill, which is a whiskey cocktail made by Kimberly Hunter. And so this has a couple of steps to it that that are interesting. So just mix this drink along with me, and I hope that you enjoy this. We are going to mix the cocktail, and then, as opposed to the first episode, y'all, I'm learning slowly. We're going to then talk about the two books, my least favorite and my favorite recent romance read. So we're going to talk about these books after we mix this cocktail so that I can relax and then really get into the conversation. So everybody, let's get into this episode of BookTales. Okay, so the Just Chill is a whiskey cocktail. So what I need is 2 ounces of rye whiskey, 1 chamomile tea bag, and so I'm using Stash chamomile tea. I love Stash teas, so it's pretty much like the only tea that I drink. So that is their caffeine-free chamomile. 1 ounce of liquid gold, which is warm water and honey. And then I'm using some local raw Ohio honey. This is the fall harvest from Honey Run Farm. And I always love to get this local honey. It's really good and it's never failed me. Angostura bitters. Y'all, this is what you gotta have on your bar for if you love old fashions. That's usually what I use it for. I don't use a ton of it, and so it lasts for a while. But yeah, Angostura bitters. Then you're gonna need a little bit of orange peel, so I picked up an orange from my local grocery store, and so we got to get into this. The first thing that you do is you are going to, and I've never heard of this before, but we are going to be steeping our chamomile tea in our whiskey. When I first looked at this recipe, I was like, oh, like we're going to like make tea and then steep it. So I got this Wild Turkey Kentucky Straight rye whiskey, and I think that I've had Wild Turkey before, but it's not something that I remember really well. Let me grab my jigger and I'll be right back. All right, so I've got my jigger, and what we need is 2 ounces of rye whiskey. Yeah, we'll go with that. 2 ounces of rye whiskey. And so when I was looking for this whiskey, honestly, I was a tad bit confused because I'm not a whiskey expert. But as I said in my first video, I love Maker's Mark. And so I was looking around for all the different rye whiskeys, and I was thinking about getting Angel's Envy rye whiskey. However, it was $119 versus like a bottle of Angel's Envy, just regular whiskey is like 30 or 40, so I was just like, wow, that is crazy. So we're gonna steep the chamomile tea in the whiskey for about 7 minutes. Okay, never done this before, never heard of this before. So I think that is interesting. Okay, so next thing we need to do is mix this liquid gold. So that is a 1/2 ounce of honey, with a 1/2 ounce of warm water. So gonna get that mixed up and I will be right back. All right, so I filled up my jigger with just an entire ounce of warm water because I probably will be making more than one of these cocktails. Y'all, it's been a long week. So I'm gonna do just a full ounce of honey. Oh, ooh, that looks beautiful, y'all. I really have like grown to love honey. I used to not be a big honey person, but then I started drinking more tea, and now honey is just absolutely amazing. And then a good hot honey. The first cocktail that I made for BookTails also included honey in it, and it was great. And so I ended up actually substituting hot honey the next time I made it, and that was absolutely amazing. Like, if y'all ever like spicy cocktails, like I've been watching this cocktail show on Netflix where it's a cocktail making competition, and they actually, one of the episodes I just watched, they were talking about spicy cocktails, and they actually had to make spicy cocktails. And so I love a spicy margarita, but I also like spice with like bourbon cocktails too. Like, I think that it adds another level. And I've also been really into spice lately. Like, I need everything to be like spicy. I've been loving putting hot sauce on everything, sriracha, all of that. So yeah. So got our liquid gold, got that mix, set it aside. And so our whiskey and tea infusion should just be almost ready. And then we need to add ice to our lowball glass, and then kind of mix everything together. So let's get that all prepped. So I'll be right back. What's so interesting is I can actually smell that chamomile in the whiskey, which is interesting. Okay, it's very, very interesting. So take this whiskey tea bag out. Just, a little bit, make sure that tea that has been infused really gets back in there. That is interesting. That's absolutely fascinating. All right, so now, so I've got my liquid gold, I've got my whiskey, I just steeped it with the chamomile tea. I've got my angostura bitters and my orange, which I'm about to pour like a little orange peel. So let's mix everything together. All right, so whiskey tea infusion, add in the liquid gold. We need a 1/2 ounce of liquid gold. We've got our bitters, so we need 2 to 3 dashes of angostura. And then stir for about 10 seconds. I'm going to add my ice to a lowball glass. It called for cubes. Y'all, this book is very detailed on the type of glassware. I try to do what I can. And then strain the cocktail over ice. You know, this is it. Y'all, this is a very simple cocktail. It's not a whole lot, but I'm sure that this is about to pack a little bit of a punch. So probably could have done is there a such thing as a double of a cocktail? Good peel. And then we drop that peel in. It also called for an edible flower, but I don't have any edible flowers. So we do what we can. Time to try this Just Chill. Okay. Yeah. I can taste the chamomile. The chamomile is coming through. That honey is really, it adds a bit of sweetness to that rye whiskey.
This one has a little sweetness to it.
Yeah, y'all. If you are a whiskey fan, I would say make this. If you don't like whiskey, but you like things a little bit on the sweeter side, this will be a good sort of like direction. It's not as like heavy as an old fashioned. I feel like this is a little bit more accessible for like a palate if you like honey, if you like a little bit of sweetness, but it also will really get you sort of like introduced to that whiskey flavor. Y'all, I'm not an expert, so don't, don't only take my advice, but yeah, I really, really like this. So time to get into talking about a little bit of romance now that we got a little bit of whiskey in our system. Okay, let's go. All right, y'all, so I'm back. Different location, same cocktail. And I am here to talk about two romances. Now, one is good, one is absolutely terrible in my opinion. And they both are kind of have the same sort of tropes and everything, but one is just done well and one I can't get with. So we're going to talk about those. So let's get into it. Y'all. So the two books are Fake It Till You Bake It by Jamie Wesley and I'm So Not Over You by Kosoko Jackson. And so I've been reading a lot of romance lately because I've been stressed. Life has been stressing me out. It's been like a lot. And so this school year I actually got a promotion, so I'm department chair now, and so that's just been a lot. In addition to, I also work at a bookstore, and then to add on that, just like other just responsibilities and life commitments and different things like that. And so I needed something a little bit different, and so I've been reading a lot of romance lately, and I feel like romance, it is such a feel-good genre, and for a very long time I thought that romance was just like fluff and I didn't understand why people read it, but especially as a Black person, and I mean, after reading All About Love, I think that book changes your perspective on love and romance and intimate relationships to the point where you realize that like you can't just avoid like happy things. Like you don't have to just only read like super serious fiction all the time, as I often do, where they're talking about just like all of the issues of this world. You sometimes can allow yourself to feel pleasure. You can allow yourself to be happy. You can allow yourself to sort of put your guard down for a moment and enjoy literature. And so I think that reading romance has allowed me to do that. And so I've been trying to pick up, good quality Black love romances. So I mean, like I had read Danny Brown which was really cute. And of course, both of the main characters are people of color. I skipped the other two books in the series. You know, I because I don't necessarily care to read romance with white men in it. That's just not I don't see it. It's not something that's going to bring me pleasure. It's not something that I'm going to particularly enjoy. So I do stick to romances with black love that are focused on black love. However, so I did pick up Fake It Till You Bake It by Jamie Wesley, and what I really love about this is it's going to be a series, but it follows a football playing baker. And so Jada Townsend Matthews is the most reviled woman in America after turning down a marriage proposal on a reality dating show. When she comes home to lick her wounds, Jada finds herself working at San Diego's newest cupcake bakery, Sugar Blitz, alongside the uptight owner and professional football player Donovan Dell. When a reporter mistakenly believes Jada and Donovan are an item, they realize they can use the misunderstanding to their advantage to help the struggling bakery and rehabilitate Jada's image. Faking a relationship should be simple, but sometimes love is the most unexpected ingredient. Fake It Till You Bake It is a sweet confection of a novel, the perfect story to curl up with while enjoying a cupcake on the side. Y'all, it was great. And we'll talk about that in a second. But I also read I'm So Not Over You. So this is a fake relationship based romance. And this also is also... It's been months since aspiring journalist Kian Andrews has heard from his ex-boyfriend Hudson Rivers, but an urgent text has them meeting up at a cafe. Maybe Hudson wants to profusely apologize for the breakup or confess his undying love. But no, Hudson has a favor to ask. He wants Kian to pretend to be his boyfriend while his parents are in town, and Kian reluctantly agrees. The dinner doesn't go exactly as planned, and suddenly Kian is Hudson's +1 to George's wedding of the season. Hudson comes from a wealthy family where reputation is everything, and he really can't afford another mistake. If Kian goes, he'll help Hudson preserve appearances and get the opportunity to rub elbows with some of the biggest names in media. This could be the big career break Kian needs, but their fake relationship is starting to feel like it might be more than a means to an end. And it's time for both men to fact-check their feelings. So this is obviously a queer romance. This is not. However, I enjoyed this one so much better. It has that fake relationship trope, but it's so enjoyable. You feel like the characters are meant to be together. And that's where I really feel like I'm So Not Over You fails, because the characters have no interest in like the same things. They don't complement each other at all. Like, you don't necessarily have to be the same person. You don't need to be the same person to be in a relationship. Like, those differences are what brings you together. However, they just seem like two random people that attempted to date at one point. There's a reason they broke up, which we never actually get an answer for why they broke up in the first place. And now they're trying to get back together, and it seems like they don't even necessarily like each other. Like, they're like the main, like Kian, really the only positive thing he has to say about Hudson is the fact that he has a nice body and he's like very attractive. And I mean, I feel like those details are things that you shouldn't have to tell us. They're things that through describing a character and who they are, and you know, like a good solid sex scene, which is also not found at all in this book. Good, not sex in general. That's where this book really lacks. And for two books that are supposed to be representing Black love, I think that Jamie Wesley writing Black love was so natural. You know, it's not heavy on even really describing the characters and kind of trying to lay it on real thick that they are Black, but you just know. And I feel like with I'm So Not Over You, one, there are 1.5 million Taylor Swift references in this novel. But the main character is also like supposed to be like this anti-capitalist, like, you know, like very like woke character. However, it's just laid on too heavy. Like, he's constantly talking about how much he hates, you know, money, and how he wants Hudson to be like ethical and different things like that with his money. But he also won't stop talking about how rich Hudson is. And I'm like, if you don't like the fact that he's rich, why are you with him? Like, you know that he's filthy rich. You know that his family's business and everything that deals with wealth is so much a part of him. And So why are you even interested in him again? And once again, there's no compatibility. So I'm just like, why? How did you all get back together? How did you all get together in the first place? Kosoko Jackson also writes really heavily, mentioning, of course, like, he's black, he's black, he's black, he and is black. And mentioning like the social justice issues and things. And I just feel like it's just not authentic. It doesn't feel authentic, even coming from a black writer. So it's like, are you really trying to write romances for black people? Or are you using black identity and the desire for black love, romances that revolve around black love, just for like clout or just to push your novel? Because I felt that same way about Yesterday's History, which is Kosoko Jackson's first novel. Like, it just was so bad when it came to like race, So I just really didn't care for it, and I would not recommend this at all. I've given Kosoko Jackson 2 tries, and I'm done. But if you really want a good, lighthearted, sexy romance with some good sex scenes, y'all, because like there's so much like sexual tension between these two characters. And I'm just like, you're just reading and you're flipping the page and you're like, I just want them to fuck. And when they do, it is oh so worth it. Like, there's a whole chapter dedicated to it. So, if you're looking for a good, sexy romance, I would highly recommend Fake It Till You Bake It. And then a book that you definitely should not pick up is I'm So Not Over You by Kosoko Jackson. That's not even to be mean. That's just being real. I really try to read all black authors, and I really try to, give black authors a chance. And, but I just have to be honest. Like, if the work's not good, the work's not good. But when the work is good, y'all, I will let you know that the work is good, and that's Fake It Till You Bake It, And, to even really go even further, it's a book about a baker that is a football player immediately like setting up his character in a way where you're like, okay, like we're not going to, lay real heavy on like the gender norms. Like, this isn't going to be like some super toxic masculine, like he's just such a sweet guy, And so I love seeing that side of men being written in romances. And I feel like that was also in Danny Brown. Like, you get a character that's like, he's really like a teddy bear, on the inside. And I could find that incredibly sexy. So I think that reading, having a character like that, that's so like, muscular and like, masculine presenting, but it really has a heart and really cares. I think that that's absolutely adorable, and it's something that, I like to escape into, even when it comes to the heterosexual romances. So, if you're one of the Patreon subscribers, let me know what some of your favorite romances are. I really want to know what I should pick up next in the romance genre. And, hopefully you made a good drink to enjoy this video with me. I'm going to go eat some pizza, relax, and enjoy the rest of my night. Curl up with a book. I've got a new romance that I'm going to be reading next. So I'm excited for that. I'm going to start that tonight. Let me know what your favorite romances are. Definitely pick up Fake It Till You Make It by Jamie Wesley if you're interested in reading a good romance. And I will see y'all in the next episode of BookTails. And always remember that you are loved.